live as we have the potential for a couple of strong to marginally severe thunderstorms in southwestern Montana, and really just continued shower and thunderstorm chances throughout the week. So just wanted to pop in, do a quick one of these, go through the details of this next series of weak storm systems that are going to move through, as well as a quick update on some of our fire conditions across the area, because we saw quite a few new starts across west central and really west central Montana, as we had numerous lightning strikes across the area. So we'll get into that here in a few minutes, but I'll spin it around, give you a pretty nice view from our Quatucknuck weather camera in Polson. We're looking at breezy conditions down there at Flathead Lake this morning, but overall very quiet conditions. It's actually a pretty nice morning. Temperatures starting to warm back up into the 50s and 60s area-wide. So give me about 30 seconds to a minute. I will get this all going and make sure everything's working here behind the scenes, and we'll fully get started with this update. I think I have everything working here behind the scenes like I planned. So that's working, and one last thing, and then we'll fully get started here with this update. And we are rolling. So thank you all for tuning in this morning. I know we'll have a few more people work their way in as we go throughout this update. So if you happen to catch this late, current time is 9:28. I can tell I'm a little tired this morning. The numbers on the computer look really small. But anyways, just before 9:30, we have looked at a pretty nice day, at least starting it so far. So as you're tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from. Did you have to contend with some of those thunderstorms this weekend? And are you looking forward to more storms, or are you looking more towards some drier conditions and summertime weather minus the thunderstorms? And so again, as for where we're starting right now, Polson, it's very nice out. We're looking at those mostly clear skies, and I think most of the region is seeing similar conditions. We had a few showers down towards Butte early this morning. Those cleared out pretty quickly, and I think that's going to be the trend. So afternoon thunderstorms lingering into the early overnight period before falling apart, and then we'll see that repeat performance each day. Now, a big reason for this is a southwesterly flow that's developed, and you kind of see it off the screen here. There's a big trough of low pressure. As I zoom this outward, you can see that spinning out there off the coast of Alaska and British Columbia. This is helping to pump southwesterly flow right into our region. There's a ridge of high pressure down to the south, so we're still stuck in that squeeze play between the low pressure system and the high pressure system, and you see each of these little bends in this southwesterly flow. Those are weak disturbances that are going to slide through, the first of which is getting ready to move into our area. That'll help spark off thunderstorms for this afternoon, and then each one of these subsequent ones, as they move through that flow, will at least allow that potential for a few more thunderstorms each afternoon. So as for today, temperatures pretty close to average for this time of the year. We're in the 80s for most locations outside of far northwestern Montana, places like Libby and Troy. We could be in the lower 90s this afternoon. 84 Kalispell, 88 in Missoula, 81 Butte, 87 for both Bozeman's and Salmon, Idaho, 83 over into West Yellowstone. We will be talking about primarily mostly clear conditions in northwest Montana. Kalispell could see an isolated thunderstorm. Really, areas from the Flathead and Mission Valleys out east, I think, have at least a chance of an isolated thunderstorm. Better chances the further south that you go in the area. Missoula, we're probably talking around a 30 to 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Butte, Bozeman, maybe more in that 40 to 60% range. This does include down towards Dillon as well. Though down towards West Yellowstone, we may actually see that drop just a little bit. In general, Interstate 90 and south, just be prepared for a few thunderstorms later on this afternoon. Now, we do have a severe weather component to today's thunderstorms, as well as tomorrow's thunderstorms as well. We're going to see that we have this dark green and even yellow zone. The dark green is a marginal risk. The yellow is a slight risk that does clip parts of Broadwater County, very northern tip of Gallatin County and northern Park counties. Overall, most of our region will likely avoid severe weather today, but this does include right into the Bozeman area, Livingston, upwards to the Three Forks area, Townsend, and then north into, oh my goodness, I'm blanking, parts of Jefferson County there, here north of Butte. So Clancy, Jefferson City, Montana City, and then getting up into the Helena area. That's going to be our primary focus for at least that potential of some marginally severe thunderstorms. You see far northwestern Montana, looking at Libby, Troy, even towards Eureka. We may stay completely dry out of this, a very low chance of thunderstorms, but even these light green zones that you're seeing, that's that isolated to scattered thunderstorm threat. Tuesday, very similar area for at least the chance of some spotty, severe thunderstorm wind gusts. That would include Bozeman, Livingston, Townsend once again. But the main impacts for both Monday and Tuesday will be gusty winds 40 to 60 miles per hour, if not a little bit stronger in those strongest cells. Frequent lightning and some brief heavy rainfall. So let's go through Future Tracker, show you how this roughly plays out. We'll see things pretty quiet all the way through about lunchtime, and then you'll start to see a few of these indications of some showers starting to develop. That's primarily going to be more cumulus clouds and them building up. But it's as we get beyond, say, 2 o'clock, I think that's when things will start to become a little more active. You're seeing these little individualized cells across west central Montana, southwestern portions of the state. Those will continue to intensify through the afternoon, and this particular model isn't particularly excited down into areas from Lima back over to West Yellowstone, so maybe a little bit lesser of a likelihood, but really on that line from Salmon to Dillon back over here towards Ennis and north does seem to have at least a higher potential of those thunderstorms today. And this is looking around 6 o'clock. You see those stretching in this arcing band from Salmon up through areas north of Wisdom, Wise River, Butte, and then I-90 across through Whitehall, Cardwell, Three Forks, Bozeman, Livingston. And each one of those stronger cells, those are the ones we'll have to watch out for the potential of 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Those will be lifting off to the north. Greatest chance for severe weather will actually be across central and southeastern Montana, where we're going to have more of a collection of strong thunderstorms out in that portion of the state. We should start to quiet down potentially as early as about, say, 7 to 8 o'clock. Storms start to move out of the area. We start to see them weaken as well. Though some isolated thunder showers can't be ruled out, some models have been indicating another round of storms trying to develop back here towards the Bitterroot Valley, the Big Hole Valley, as we get into the early morning hours of Tuesday. This particular model run, not as excited about it, but that is a possibility. I think maybe a few spotty showers it would be the highest potential, at least as things look like right now. Then we get into Tuesday, very similar start, very quiet. We're looking at mostly clear skies, but notice this starts to develop showers a little further north and a little earlier in the day. This is 1 o'clock, right along the divide up into Glacier National Park, seeing some of those showers and weak thunderstorms. And then we see that continuing to push off to the east. More of those develop down in southwest Montana as we get into that 2 to 4 o'clock period. But you notice right along the divide and to the east is going to be a primary focus for those thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon. This model is a little more aggressive, I think, again, down here into southeastern Montana. We're seeing some of those stronger cores, a lot of those oranges and reds showing up. Back over here, could be talking about some thunderstorms between Butte and Dillon, closer over here towards the Pipestone community and north of there. And then back to the west of Butte, again, back towards Wisdom, Phillipsburg, Georgetown Lake, where we see that. May not see it get as far north as Missoula. We're going to be right on the edge for Tuesday afternoon, but noticing again, maybe a bit more enhancement right along Interstate 90 through the afternoon. We'll have to see if the storms from tonight set off a little stationary boundary, and that may be what these are, or at least this particular model run is indicating, is a boundary right on I-90 that could enhance some of the lift in the atmosphere, enhance some of the thunderstorm activity as well. So that'll be a trend we'll have to watch throughout the day today. Just the same trend though, once we get beyond sunset, the storms lose their energy, they lose that instability, things calm down, and we quiet down back into Wednesday, and then Wednesday afternoon, like clockwork, we see those thunderstorms start to develop, though maybe they take a little bit longer to get in until the late afternoon, early evening hours of Wednesday afternoon in southwest Montana, but we'll have to keep an eye on this. There is the potential we could see some slower moving thunderstorms Wednesday that could enhance our flash flooding threat. For right now, as it looks like for Monday and Tuesday, the flooding threat is pretty low just because the storm should be moving relatively quickly. Those start to slow down as we get into that Wednesday through Friday time period, and in addition to that, we are going to see more moisture moving in. So another storm system that's going to be a little bit higher in its moisture content will allow more rainfall to occur. So it's really going to be just kind of a watch and see how this forecast develops over the next 24 to 48 hours. If we are going to be dealing with at least a flash flooding potential near burn scars, flood prone areas, or if this is going to be more of just these storms are going to be moving off relatively quickly. You'll see some heavy rainfall, but outside of those, those burn scars, you're not really concerned with flooding. Again, that's just a watch and see type of scenario. So just keep putting it kind of in the back of our minds. That's something we'll have to keep a close eye on moving forward. Now, as we go further on into this forecast, we're looking at that daily chance of showers and thunderstorms. So we just went through Wednesday on our future tracker, but you see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, likely Sunday, we're talking about at least isolated to scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. It's as we get into this Thursday, Friday, Saturday time frame, I think we transition at least over to a higher chance of some localized flash flooding. Again, something we'll have to watch out for, but also hail may also become a more of an issue for those days. We get a little bit more of that moisture, maybe even a little bit cooler air aloft, and that'll allow at least for some small hailstones to develop. Can't rule that out over the next 2 days, but it's not as high of a threat as we get into, as compared to what we'll see later on this week. So that's everything I have about the thunderstorms. As for our fire update, and while I'm getting a few things organized just real quick, if you have any questions about the storm system, what we can expect, feel free to let me know, and we'll take a look at that in just a touch more detail. But we did see a lot of new fires start across really this zone, west central Montana, because of all of the lightning strikes that we had from in a 24-hour period from the storms. I believe this was Saturday into Sunday. There was over 15,000 lightning strikes across the state. So, and the scary thing with lightning is each one of those can spark new fires. And like I said, we saw a few of those start off this weekend. So the big change, when we last talked on Friday, we were still dealing with the Big Bear and Rush fires. We were dealing with the Deer fire. We had the Lost Horse Observation Point fire, which started on Thursday, I believe, really start to take off. But new fires that began because of the lightning, the Dominic Point fire, the Butte Cabin fire, and the Sucker Creek fire. Those three are the at least the ones I know of that did start. Latest updates that are coming in on those. So I'll start off just going, in our area, starting off with the Lost Horse Observation Point fire, around 105 acres right now. Those evacuation, at least I want to say the right thing, those evacuation warnings are still set for the south side of Lost Horse Road from the 370 block west, and then the west and south side of Hayes Creek Road between the intersections of Camas Creek Loop and Blue Jay Lane, as well as the north side of Lost Horse Road from the 370 block west. So it does look like the evacuation orders have been dropped. It was probably something that happened this weekend. I just was out of town and didn't see it. But evacuation warnings still set for this fire. Going up to the Dominic Point fire, this is on the eastern side of the Bitterroot Valley. We're currently sitting around 20 acres as of last update from what I've seen. The Butte Cabin fire, just a few acres, right around 2. There's a few other smoke reports in that same area. We've got the Miller Gulch fire, which is pretty close to the Butte Cabin, and then the Dalles fire, which is just to the northeast of it. A lot of these smoke reports will probably continue to filter in over the next little bit. We also have the Deer fire that started over a week ago Southeast of Missoula, the containment on this fire is now up to 90%, still 75 acres. So that one, the crews are getting a pretty solid handle on. And then we also have the Sucker Creek fire, which is out here north of Lincoln. And this is probably, in our area, the most active fire we have right now. And this is roughly what I'm seeing. It went from 2 acres up to around 80 acres as of last report, and it does still look like it's getting a decent bit of activity on it. So that's one we'll have to keep a close eye on today, especially if we get, and this is the case with any of these fires, if we get any winds off of our thunderstorms this afternoon without very much rain, that could help to spread those flames pretty quick, and that's going to be a big concern. Now, if we get those thunderstorms to sit right on top of a fire and not produce, a whole lot of lightning, then that can be a big help, and that can help to bring that fire activity down, allow crews to get on top of it. I hate to say that when it comes to thunderstorms and fires, it really comes down to just their position and a little bit of luck to see how they're going to behave. Sometimes you can be lucky on those and you get a lot of rain right on top of one of those active fires. It really helps to cut down on the activity. Other times you have the rain that goes just by it, you get mostly just lightning and wind off of them, and that can of course spread those fires, those existing fires, and create new ones. So we're going to just have to keep a close eye on each afternoon for the potential of new fire starts, as we have remained very dry in west central and southwestern Montana. Much of northwest Montana has actually done fairly well. I know the Flathead Valley specifically didn't see as much rain, but up in the mountains, those higher elevations, anywhere from about 1 to 3 inches of rain has fallen throughout the month. So it's been good up there, up into parts of Flathead, Lincoln counties. We just, maybe share that wealth a little bit, and we might actually get some of that later on this week. So jumping back into the fire talk, we do also have those 3 fires out here. The Rock Pile, which is over 100 acres. There, I believe that's pretty close to, let me get the correct location. So this is south of Harlem and north of Zortman, out here in northeast Montana. We have the Lamb Creek fire, which is out here between north and east of White Sulphur Springs and south of Nyhart, here to the east of the Helena area. And then we also have the Silver Run fire, which is down here closer to Red Lodge, which is sitting right around 15 acres. The Lamb Creek is about 6 acres as of last update. Now, if we are going to see more smoke in the air, in addition to our local fires, as I've talked about in multiple different occasions, the Big Bear and Rush fires continue to be quite active. Big Bear fire is now over 11,000 acres down there in Idaho. The Rush fire is about 9,500 acres, still both quite active. And there are a few more smoke reports down in this same zone that we'll have to keep a close eye on over the next little bit too, to see if those grow or if crews can get a hold of them. There's about, I'd say about a half dozen new starts just in this zone, and that doesn't even include a few other ones that are down into the southern Bitterroot Mountains, like the Mink Lake fire and the Whiskey fire, roughly in this zone. So lots of new little starts that we're going to have to keep a close eye on over the next few days, in addition to the potential of new fire starts. Now, one note, we will see thunderstorms this afternoon. Some of those could be strong to severe across southwest Montana primarily. Once we get beyond sunset, those storms should either move out of the area or really start to fall apart quickly. That's going to leave us with partly cloudy skies. We'll see more thunderstorms for Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon, but Tuesday specifically could see some stronger storms once again down towards the Bozeman-Townsend areas. Gusty winds 40 to 60 miles per hour. Maybe some small hail will be possible with those, in addition to heavy rainfall and lightning. And then we go into Thursday and Friday, and this may even start as early as Wednesday. We are going to see our next systems move in with more moisture. Continued shower and thunderstorm chances, though we could be transitioning a bit more into the heavy rain side of things. Still a lot to be ironed out with that forecast, but if we are going to see flash flooding around our flood-prone areas, burn scars, really as we go from Wednesday through Friday, I think is going to be that window where that occurs, but we have a little bit of time to watch that. That'll be changing over the next few days. So I think I'm going to start wrapping it up there. Again, last chance. If you got any questions, feel free to ask those in the chat section. And if you have any photos or videos, which I know we got some really impressive photos from the thunderstorms that rolled through Missoula on Saturday, but if you have anything like that, storm damage or just cool looking clouds, certainly feel free to share those with us at nbcmontana.com/chime in. Certainly tune into our live broadcasts tonight at 5, 6, and 10 for the latest news updates, latest weather updates, and then we'll, me and Jason Hurst will be back for NBC Montana Today starting at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then again, just a reminder, if if I'm not on air or online, I'm away or something like that, make sure to have the NBC Montana weather app. If you get under a severe thunderstorm warning, you will be alerted to that severe thunderstorm warning, as well as the information about those impacts that you can see. And just I'll say this as a reminder to all. I know there's a lot of people that are outdoors right now. It's the time of year to enjoy the outdoors, but with that chance of thunderstorms each afternoon, certainly have the thought of the weather on your mind. Have it in the back of your mind. Don't completely change your plans, but have a backup plan B type of activity that is indoors, because when thunder roars, go indoors. I'll say that phrase. I'll make it a little fun here. I'll say that phrase until the cows come home. I think that's the right phrasing for that. But anyways, just be smart when you have thunderstorms in the area. We don't want to see anybody get struck by lightning. But that'll be a big concern with all of the thunderstorms that are out and about over the next 5 to 7 days, and we could continue to even see some thunderstorms, like I said, through the weekend and into early next week. Models are a little split on whether we'll transition over to high pressure or if we're going to continue to be in this active weather pattern. So again, we got plenty of time to watch that. So with that, I'll wrap it up. Have a great Monday, a safe Monday, and I'll see you all on the next YouTube Live, probably in the next couple of days. So I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great day. With NBC Montana, I'm meteorologist Mitchell Gomes.